and welcome to another episode of The Road to Revenue. I'm Lee, I'm your host here, and joining me today we have the amazing Lane Fournerat of LaneVids and Dad Reviews. Hey Lane, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, I am absolutely excellent. I'm so looking forward to be able to deep dive into the tips, the tricks, and really understand what your road to revenue was like. But first off, can you tell us a little bit about the channels that you've got?
Sure. First of all, thank you for having me on the podcast. Definitely appreciate that. So I've been on YouTube since 2006. My main focus these days is twofold. One is our travel channel, which is just LaneVids, where I travel with my wife and kids and we have fun around the United States. And then my second channel is Dad Reviews, where I just review products from a dad's perspective.
The Dad Reviews channel, you absolutely produce lots and lots and lots of content on it, don't you?
Yes. So kind of going back to my backstory a little bit, I was also a daily vlogger for 6.5 years on YouTube. So I got really comfortable being in front of a camera and doing the same thing day in and day out until I got pretty burned out. And that's whenever I kind of stopped the daily vlogging and I was like, okay, I have a bunch of emails coming in from brands who want me to feature their products, but they don't like the rate that I'm giving them. So maybe I should just start a new channel and just have it be me talking about products. And so that's where Dad Reviews origin story was. I was looking for a place to be able to talk about products, and I was so flabbergasted that nobody had the name Dad Reviews too. So I've jumped in, just one day headstrong with it. I went for it, and lo and behold, we're almost at like 40,000 subscribers now. So it's been a roller coaster ride throughout the entire way, but it's been totally awesome for my business.
And that's brilliant. I mean, first of all, I have to say, I'm surprised that Dad Reviews was still available when you went for it, because
that was in 2017 as well. That was only like 5 years ago, or 6 years ago. So amazing that I was able to get that. But go ahead.
No, and that, I mean, that's amazing that you got it, but also that you saw where the gap was, right? That actually you had these people wanted to get the information, the content you had, obviously with almost 40,000 subscribers. There was obviously an audience sitting there waiting to hear it, but not having that the brand support to say, well, yeah, go on, we'll pay the rate you're charging. Great that you found that other way. What was that kind of, when you got into doing those first reviews? What did you find the most difficult part of transitioning into doing the reviews from the daily vlogging?
So I got really comfortable being in front of a camera and doing the same thing day in and day out until I got pretty burned out. And that's whenever I kind of stopped the daily vlogging and I was like, okay, I have a bunch of emails coming in from brands who want me to feature their products. I was looking for a place to be able to talk about products, and I was so flabbergasted that nobody had the name Dad Reviews too. So I've jumped in, just one day headstrong with it. I went for it, and lo and behold, we're almost at like 40,000 subscribers now. So it's been a roller coaster ride throughout the entire way, but it's been totally awesome for my business. I tried to make it as simple as possible because the daily vlog channel basically became what our travel channel is now. And so, I knew that I would be spending more time editing those videos. And so I needed to make Dad Reviews something that was super easy and super sustainable. So I say, I'm going to give you hopefully more authentic product reviews from a dad's perspective with zero editing, basically. And then it just grew and grew and grew. And it's taken on a life of its own. I've been able to hire other people to help me out with certain things. I'm honestly open to pretty much anything. Like, it's just me talking about products with an audience, right? Like, I just want to be able to, even if it's just an unboxing video, which I do tons of unboxing videos, because one, especially if it's a brand deal type of thing, I think that is the most authentic way that I can be truthful about what I'm saying about a product, because I'm literally taking it out of the box for the first time. And a lot of times I don't read the instructions on purpose in my videos, because I want to know how intuitive the product is just from looking at it. Like, literally 5 minutes ago, I was playing with an electronic air pump, and I was like trying to figure out what the buttons do. And I'm like, it's like, whenever you figure something out, there's this sense of joy and excitement that you just can't reproduce whenever you first figure something out. And that just happened like literally, 5 minutes ago before we got on this call. So, it became, just because of the nature of the content, I think it's more adept to bringing in more revenue than some other, types of content that are out there, more like entertainment based and whatnot. YouTube, I can usually get up pretty quickly as well. So, that's kind of my biggest platform. And I knew that I could make the channel into something. And so from 2017, whenever I started the channel, that's where it all began. I knew that I didn't want to have all my eggs in one basket. And so I started to find ways to be able to get this content into other places. I remember thinking about a year later, I said, man, if I could just put these videos on Amazon, that would make this workflow just so much easier. And then lo and behold, there's the whole Amazon thing now where you can upload some video to them. And so I was able to do that, in the past couple of years, and that's done really well. I was trying some AI systems to be able to make short videos like opus.clip. It kind of let me know what I could do once I was able to reach these other platforms. I realized that was something that I kind of needed to focus on, not only just to be able to grow the platforms, but to be able to talk to the brands and tell them, look, this is what I can do for you whenever I have all this reach from all the platforms. And so my latest endeavor has been learning about a little bit about automation and using things like Zapier to be able to generate the content and get it up onto those platforms with a little less workload on my end. Zapier is probably my biggest thing right now, because I knew that I needed to replace the workload of what my sister-in-law was doing. And I could have hired someone else, but all the training that I went through to try and train her, and then 4 months later her leave, like I didn't want that to happen again. And so I figured if I could find a way to build the automation, I could do that. And kind of my whole tech stack is built into that automation, and just running it through those processes so that I can make it happen on the back end with just a click of a button. I've tried to upload to 8 platforms at one time, and it's just so time consuming. I had to find a way to be able to do the amount of work that I do, because I'm also I'm also recording the videos all on my own. And that takes up hours and hours. And then to be able to do the upload for each of those individual websites is more hours and hours whenever I can just simplify it using something like Zapier. And then what's really cool is that in the Zapier workflow, I have a webhook for Genius Links in there. Since I already have the ASIN in the table, I can simply create a link in Zapier using the Genius Link webhook, and then it brings that Genius Link into my Zapier table so that I can push it out to all of those platforms and be able to have those Genius Links up onto there. And you guys, I've worked with Jesse, I've connected through Levanta and Archer and all the other networks that you guys work with, so that my links not only are Genius Links, so they're brought to the right Amazon store, but they also are tagged along with these other agencies so that I can reach those higher commissions that Genius Links can offer me by them working and partnering with them. So it's just been an absolute game changer for me to be able to get those higher commissions that I know Genius Links can offer me.
Oh, do you know, and that's absolutely brilliant that you've taken this massive bulk of work and actually refined it down into a system that works for you, that sounds really slick and really minimalistic in terms of how much input you have to put into it, but in terms of how much you're getting out, is very maximalist. It's maximizing as much as you can.
The way that I look at it too is that I took a lot of time up front to make sure that I got that right. Because if I knew that I wasn't going to get it right, it was just going to keep breaking and breaking on me. And so I spent, I want to say it was like 3 weeks trying to get everything lined up to where everything just worked perfectly. And, once you get to that point, I knew that from there it would just be like super easy.
It's almost like getting muscle memory, isn't it?
Exactly. The fact that I was able to just through YouTube videos and working with other people figure this thing out, I got the machine working basically. And so I just needed to plug myself into that machine so that I could get my content out there.
No, it's absolutely brilliant. It's really, really brilliant. That. So you mentioned a little bit around the recording and actually let's talk about gear, right? So you're very much, you're every role, aren't you? Right?
Yeah,
you're the whole production team. So talk us through the physical equipment that you rely on.
So that right there is my video studio. You know what? Let me unhook real quick, and I'll give you guys a full on tour right here. So I had a Canon M50 that I was shooting with. It was this guy right here. But then it started to give me some really weird on-off type stuff and whatnot. And it was kind of a hassle to be able to have a plug-in for it. And I wanted it to be able to run to my computer so that I could capture directly from my computer. Let me turn on some lights. And so I just simply have a Mac Mini right here. And now I shoot with this GoPro right here. So I just simply take the GoPro right into the Mac Mini. And I have OBS that I usually turn on now with the GoPro software. And the way that I've synced it up is so that file goes into a folder that's connected to this hard drive right here. And then that hard drive is connected obviously to the Mac Mini, which is also connected to my Google Drive. So whenever I shoot a video, it automatically gets backed up to the SSD. Then it also gets backed up to Google Drive. And then Zapier will read from that Google Drive folder. So I literally have to do nothing as far as batteries, SD cards, moving files around. Because whenever I started this, I was using that M50 with an SD card in there. And every day, I go around the house, find a whole bunch of products that I want to review or talk about. And I'd have a stack of 20. And I'd literally sit there for 5 hours. And of course, the batteries would run out. I'd have to keep charging them. The SD cards would run out. I'd have to go and dump them. It just took up a lot of extra time that I was trying not to have to do. And so I developed this system right here, which is working like a charm for me. So I'm very, very excited about that.
Oh, I love it. It absolutely sounds like a really sensible setup. And I love how it's you sound very much like a problem solver. Would that be right?
So my thing is I'm kind of an efficiency guy. I want things to work. I want them to work right. And I want them to work fast. And so if I can make that happen with as little amount of effort as I can, then I'll do that. I'll put in the time or the money to be able to get the system working so that whenever I work, I'm minimizing the amount of work that I have to do so that I can focus on other things or other problems in the business where I can hopefully make those more efficient.
The whole piece, the whole system that you've got plugged in from the hardware and through the software and actually the distribution part, absolutely incredible. Is that just for the reviews though? Do you use it in both of your channels? Is there kind of crossover, or have you got those? Are they siloed?
Yeah, usually because I come from that daily vlogging background. The travel channel is totally we are out and about doing stuff. I would take that M50. I kind of stopped doing the M50, and what I do is I'll just take the GoPro off of the little stand that I have on there, and I just take that with me as my main camera for the travel stuff. But as far as the dad reviews and the product videos, unless it's a product that I can't bring into here, then it's not, because it's not going to work with the setup that I have there. Then I'd usually just take out my phone and I make a video right from my phone. Just the problem with the phone is that I have to move the files. I've got to get it into Google Drive. I've got to, make sure everything's all synced up. With what I have right there, it's I make the video and it's ready to go.
Yeah. So with that then, obviously with the two channels, then you've got slightly different systems. You've also have you got a slightly different approach from a revenue standpoint and revenue streams on both of those?
100%. I mean, I will tell you that the dad reviews drives the travel channel. The travel channel is more of a passion type of thing for me. And so I realized throughout my daily vlogging that I really like the moments whenever I'm with my family where I was traveling and we were experiencing something new. So I wanted to hold on to that. I wanted to keep that and make something from that. Whether it goes anywhere or not, I really don't care. I really like having those memories. So the dad reviews drives that whole aspect of my business for me.
Yeah, and you have done some incredible road trips, haven't you? What's your longest one?
Let's see. In 2022, we did a 60-day road trip.
Wow.
We went from Louisiana all the way up to Michigan, the UP of Michigan, and then we drove all the way down to Florida, and then we drove back to Louisiana. That was a pretty big one.
That is absolutely incredible. So how do you fit in with 60 days? What happens to your reviews? How do you manage that?
Well, one part of Dad Reviews is some of the travels of the Airbnbs and hotels that we stay in. So I'm able to kind of keep some content going because I'm making a review of the hotel that we stayed at. Or if we're at like a really cool place that I just kind of want to highlight as a review, I'll do a full-on video about that place. Like we were at the New Orleans Insectarium one day, and I was like, this place is so cool. I just want to go do a quick unedited video running through the whole place and just kind of pointing out things and talking about them. And so I did that, you know. It was a great video. I think it gave a lot of information to people who might be interested in going there, as opposed to just being kind of this voyeuristic thing of like my family, which is what would be the travel vlog.
I haven't seen that one, the Insectarium, but it already sounds incredible.
Hey, it sounds incredible to you, but like to me, it's just me walking through a place that I got to experience and I wanted to share it with somebody.
So how much crossover? So obviously you've got some, like you say, some of the Airbnbs, some of the hotels you stay at. How much other crossover is there between the travel and the Dad Reviews?
Obviously, whenever we're traveling, like if I see something that looks kind of cool, I might pick it up and come back to the house and shoot it. So even though I like on Dad Reviews, I'm not traveling. It's not a product that I traveled with. It's one that I may have grabbed from somewhere and brought it home to do. Like there was some astronaut ice cream that we got at some rocket science center, or there's my wife's a big tea drinker. So if there's some tea that she likes while we're traveling, you know, I take that and I'll go and, you know, make a cup of tea with it and do a little taste test of it or something like that.
I'm really interested to know, is it the Dad Reviews pushing into the travel vlogging and the vlog? I mean, you were a daily vlogger, right? A daily vlogger. So that was the core of your knowledge, right? Really, really solid. As you've developed and continued to learn, are you finding one channel is supporting the other in terms of the learnings, or is it a cross pollination of both? Where are you getting your most insights from?
I would say that the Dad Reviews is what I'm getting the most amount of learning from. And that's just because it's the one that's moving. It's the one that's moving the needle more for me. And so it makes me want to grow it more. And as you grow, you're going to come into more problems and you have to figure out how to solve those problems. And so that right there is the entire learning curve. In fact, I was thinking the other day about the whole Zapier workflow that I created. And I thought, man, if this was 2011 and I would have been, you know, having my daily vlogs, and if I would have run it through this whole system, like I would have had so much more reach and I could have possibly have grown on a different platform. You know, YouTube wasn't working for me, but maybe Facebook would, maybe Instagram would, maybe insert program here would, and I could have potentially grown on there. Since Dad Reviews was working for me, I was able to invest that time and the resources to be able to figure out these types of systems and what works for me.
Like when you cast your mind back, was there any advice that you followed that you think, actually, I probably shouldn't have followed that advice, or maybe some really good advice that you either should have followed sooner or you're super pleased you did?
Oh gosh, that is a hard question because I've had so many mistakes, especially throughout my YouTube career. Like like I said, I started in 2006 and I had one channel called it's L, the number 4, ANYRAT. And first of all, first advice, like get a name somebody can pronounce, right? Yeah. If I go and tell you my name's L4Anyrat, they're going to be like, what? Write that out for me, right? My next channel was called LaneVids, right? My name's Lane. I make videos. And so I learned from that, being that my last name is Fournerat. Nobody knows how to pronounce that. Nobody knows how to spell that. So I made it dumb. My name is Lane. I make videos, LaneVids. As I started telling that to people who may not have even known what YouTube was, because this was like 2010, 2009. Yeah. Lane what? Lane, you know, I don't understand what that is. So it took me years to be able to figure this out. But the next iteration was Dad Reviews. everybody knows what a dad is. Everybody knows what a review is, right? So it made like, once I saw that that handle was available, that was like gold to me. I knew that that was going to work. And so the progression of even just your channel name and getting it right from the beginning, something that doesn't have numbers, something that people can pronounce, you know, and there are the exceptions out there. There are the Casey Neistats out there who, that's a weird last name, right? I remember one of the first videos that I watched of him, he was explaining his last name, and he was like, Casey Neistat, like a tattoo, like nice tattoo, nice tat. And so, you know, it didn't make it easy for people to spell, but I knew that like having that thought process in my mind, I would be able to at least find it through search. So, you know, like I said, there are the outliers out there, but to have something dead, simple, stupid is kind of like the best thing you can do, just from a branding perspective and people being able to remember who you are. The second point of advice or kind of thing that I wish I would have learned would be to hopefully tell more stories and learn a little bit more about storytelling, because that's something that's going to engage an audience. An audience is going to remember the stories that are being told. And so, you know, with a channel like mine, obviously the travel channel, the whole story is kind of built into what's going to happen whenever you're at that place, right? But whenever it comes to like a product, how do you tell a story behind that? Well, you know, you bought a product for a particular reason, or you accepted a product for a particular reason. Tell your audience why you have this product. What problem are you trying to solve? That's usually what a product does, is it solves a problem for the user. And so if you can communicate that, then that is like gold. So one of my most popular videos on YouTube is how to clean a toilet using muriatic acid. We live down here in Louisiana, and we get these mineral buildups along the rim of the toilet where the water sits. And so I did some research, and I found a blog article about this master plumber who uses muriatic acid to be able to get rid of that stuff. And so I just simply made a video about that because I had this problem and I was going to use this acid to solve this problem. Is it going to work? Like, that's what everybody wants to know. And so what the interesting thing about that particular video is that it's a 2-part video for reasons because of the way I shoot. So again, I said my videos are unedited. And so I literally shot the first portion of the video of like, this is what you do. This is me pouring the acid in. This is where, you know, all the precautions you need to take, all this type of stuff. But then now I need to let it wait for 30 minutes, right? Like, I'm not going to make you sit 30 minutes while I wait for this stuff to work. So I just cut the camera. And then I say, you know, if you guys, at the end, I said, if you guys want to see what happens, part 2 is going to be right here. Go click that. And so I made part 2, which is me coming back after the 30 minutes and be like, okay, guys, it's been 30 minutes. Let's see what happened here. And so those are my 2 top viewed videos on that channel right now, because it tells a good story. I solved the problem. Obviously, other people were having that same issue. But then I believe YouTube loves whenever you get someone to watch another video. And since I left the resolution for that in that second video, that prompted YouTube to just want to keep feeding those types of videos to the audience. What's really interesting, I did that like, gosh, probably 4 years ago, something like that. What's really interesting is that the other day we're having our bathrooms remodeled, and the bottom part underneath the toilet is called the flange, which the toilet sits on. And mine was broken. My contractor told me, look, we need to find, a fix for this. And so I didn't want to get in his way with shooting everything, but I made a video saying, hey, look, we had this broken toilet part right here, and we needed to fix this flange. This is the product that you need to be able to get it down. He already had the flange like installed on there. I said, this is what you need. This is how it's installed into here, and then your toilet just simply sits on top of that and bolts to it. And it was like a quick, maybe 2-minute video. But because it dealt in the vein of a toilet, YouTube is pushing that one out. It's not doing like anything crazy like what the original videos did, but it shows that especially on YouTube, if you stay within a niche type of thing, like that can really start to drive the other videos on the channel. That's one point in my video process that I could probably do better with, is trying to be more what's the right word? Trying to be more like sticky, more in the same niche as the videos that are doing well on the channel. And I'm just kind of at a point where I like to talk about products. And so whenever I see something, I just want to get it out there. And so that's, if I wanted to have the channel grow like even faster, I know that that's something that I should do, but I don't like to get pigeonholed like that. And that's another lesson that I've learned throughout my career, is that I've had a channel, the LaneVids channel, which is where I put my travel stuff now. That started off as me just talking to a camera. Then it went to science experiments. Then it went to a few vlog type of things. Then it went to some travel stuff. Then it went to some video game stuff. Like, I literally took that channel all across the board. It has 80,000 subscribers, but nobody watches because they don't know what they're going to get out of the channel. And so that's why I kind of made that channel be just like the passion project channel. It's kind of me, just what I want to do. I really like travel, so that's what I'm going to kind of focus on right there. I kind of given it a kind of niche, and hopefully we can turn around the channel. If not, whatever. It doesn't matter. Dad Reviews is driving it right now.
I think one of the great things that now that it's become this way for you to document your travels with your family, I think is absolutely incredible. And like you say, if that's what it achieves, great. If it achieves nothing more than that, that's okay too. If it brings additional, that's fine. So coming back then a little bit to talking about the revenue streams and we love all our clients, and great to have you in the Genius Link family, but talk us through what your revenue streams look like.
Sure. So obviously it started off in the beginning with just Amazon affiliates. Like, the beginning of Dad Reviews is literally me going around my house and figuring out how many products can I make a video on today so that I can get some videos on YouTube with an affiliate link so I can get some affiliate commission in. Because to get monetized on YouTube for AdSense, you have to, meet all the thresholds and whatnot, which with my background in YouTube of doing it for a decade before, I kind of knew what I needed to do to make that happen. And so I figured may as well get started with the affiliate side first so that that'll just be tacked on to the AdSense revenue that's going to come in. And then, of course, like I said, I started the channel with brands in mind because I was getting those emails, for brands who want me to do something on the LaneVids channel, but they didn't want to pay the fee because I knew I had 80,000 subscribers there. And so I knew that was there. I just didn't think that I could tap into it quite yet because I didn't grow the Dad Reviews channel enough, but I was still getting those leads coming in, which was nice. So I had the affiliate stuff working. Eventually I got the YouTube ad revenue coming in. And then once I saw, some traction going on here, I realized I could get product in from brands, especially once I used up everything in the house that I could make videos on. Figure, may as well hit up some of these brands to see if there's something that I can do for them and we can kind of partner together on those types of things. And so I made, unboxing videos for them, or, I tested it out for a while and I go, show how it affected me or whatever. And so those were kind of the three that I first started with. And then it was probably 2 years into it where someone at Genius Links, I think it may have been Matt, reached out to me and he said, look, through our links, if you use our links, we're able to get your sales from people who are outside of the US. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. At first, I was kind of like, is this legit? Because y'all's service is like $5 or $10 a month or something. It's not expensive at all, which is something that was interesting to me. And then y'all were like, here, we'll give you a 90-day free trial. Here, we'll help you out with converting all your links that are already on YouTube using our tool so that we can convert them to Genius Links and you can see that revenue. And so I was like, okay, this is like, it would be dumb for me not to do this, right? And so I went ahead and I went through the 30-day or 90-day trial, whatever it was. I don't even remember to this day. And I immediately saw sales coming in from Canada, from the UK, from Germany, from, wherever. There's like 20 Amazon storefronts that are out there that if you plug in a Genius link to it, you can tap into that, which is super cool. And so, once I saw that, it was just like, it was plug and play for me, really. And Jesse, I now, like, last year and the year before at Vid Summit, I actually, met up. Jesse's the CEO, for people who don't know. I met up with him, and I was just talking to him, and I was like thanking him profusely for just adding this extra revenue stream that I didn't even know was there. And we go back and forth, me just giving ideas to you guys about ways that, as a creator, you guys can make y'all systems better, because it makes my systems better.
And you know what? And that is, it's one of the things that we do love doing, is actually collaborating with. We don't work in isolation, right? And we absolutely know that. So it's great to get that feedback and that input to be able to change that. And great that you got such a immediate shift in the revenue. That is, that's incredible. I think and you talk about it being, well, questionable over, is this legitimate? Is this possible? Is it actually going to make an impact? But to see you get such a quick and rapid result is absolutely, that's what we go for, right? Like that is our aim every day.
And I'm kind of like a researcher, data nerd type of guy. So I could see the data coming in, but before I saw that data coming in, I was like, okay, I need to verify this Genius Link thing, because I have no clue what it is. So I went to YouTube and I typed in in quotation marks, JENI.US, or I put the link, because I wanted to see who else was using Genius Links, right? And as I started going through there, I saw these creators with hundreds of thousands of millions of subscribers. I was like, okay, there's something to this. But what was really interesting is that I saw tech people using it. And tech people are kind of like at the forefront. They know what they're doing. They know what they're talking about. In particular, I saw Linus Tech Tips, right? And so he uses Genius Links. And I was like, okay, this is that right there legitimatized it for me, and I knew that I could at least test it out and see if it was something that was going to work for me.
Right. So where do you see yourself going then? I mean, you've gone from and you've got a really interesting story, right? Starting off as a travel vlogger, doing that daily, hitting the point where you burnt out. Yes, you've taken that channel all over. With every single niche and topic that you can think of, and now you've settled it down into your travel. You've got Dad Reviews, which is rock solid. What do you see over the next year? What's coming up in 2024?
So for me, it's all about distribution. I've worked like I said, 3 weeks to be able to make sure that I got, and it's still not even fine tuned the way that I want it to be. Because since all of my videos are unedited, all of my file names for all my databases is MVI_1234, IMG_2568. I have no clue what those means unless I look at my spreadsheet. So I'm trying to find a way to where I can use the spreadsheet to be able to create a column that changes my file name to what the actual name of the product is, or what the title I have for the video is, hopefully with the ASIN as well, because I already have that data in that spreadsheet. And then I wanted to update that drive that I showed you guys so that it would automatically update all those files and then automatically update them on Google Drive. And so that's like the next kind of biggest hurdle that I have for myself. You're always going to be trying to fine tune the gears of your machine to be able to make it work perfectly. And I'm not even at there yet, but I'm at a point where I can at least get all this stuff distributed out. And so that's kind of my thing, is I want to build up all of my other platforms. I know YouTube in and out. I can squeeze every little bit that I can get out of YouTube to be able to make the most of that for me. And now I'm looking at Twitter, I'm looking at Facebook, I'm looking at TikTok and Instagram and, all the other social networks that are out there, LinkedIn, Pinterest, all those little ones that not a lot of people are paying attention to, but I know need to be on my radar. There's other ones out there that I'm looking at that I know other creators are not even tapping into. I mean, there's Clapper and Telegram and Like to Know It, Reddit, We Are 8, Snapchat, there's just the Rumble, Truth Social. There's so many of them out there, and I'm wondering, okay, where's the API so that I can plug that into my machine so that I can get all of this content going up to there. And so that's kind of my biggest push right now is distribution, and whether whether there's a way that I can plug it into my machine, or if I need to hire someone as a new plug so that they can get that content out there.
Brilliant. I mean, you are right. There are more and more networks and distribution channels than one person can absolutely possibly do. So yeah, plugging them into your machine, absolutely, I can see that. Is there one that you're thinking is probably, and I don't mean the golden goose, but is there one that you think, yes, that's the one that actually really feels super untapped for you?
Probably Facebook. Being I'm a dad and I'm about 42 years old, a lot of my audience is kind of, either they look at me as a fellow dad, or it's younger guys who are coming in and wondering, like, what kind of dads do I need? Because I'm, my wife's pregnant and I need to figure out what I need to buy because I've gone through, I've got 3 kids. I've gone through a bunch of baby products, right? Or it's younger guys who don't have a dad in their life, and they kind of look to me as a father figure for them, which I'm fine to be. I think that that's great. And so I think Facebook is kind of where some of that demographic is. And just the nature of Facebook of being able to put a post with a link in there that's clickable. Because, a lot of the other social networks like TikTok and Instagram, it's a link in a bio or something like that. And, I'm a guy that I've got like 2,000 videos out there, all with different links. I can't put 2,000 links in my bio, right? That doesn't work for my system. And so I think that Facebook is probably my best untapped grounds right now for what I do.
So what's your bottleneck right now for either reaching out into nailing down Facebook and getting that distribution really boxed off? Or what's your bottleneck overall as a creator?
So the bottleneck with Facebook, hopefully I just fixed by using Zapier, because it's connected to there and I got everything set up with my system to where now it's literally like click a button and it's going to go out. So I'm kind of praying that Facebook is going to be at a point where it's good, like it's good to go. With the Zapier integration and having everything in that spreadsheet, I can literally just click a couple of buttons and it's going to do all the work that I need it to do. And I can schedule them out, 4 a day if I want to, 10 a day if I want to, or if I want to skip a day, or if we're going traveling and I need to have content go out, I can set up these scheduled tasks to happen all throughout, while we're out. So that hopefully that was kind of like, it was my bottleneck, and I've waved my magic wand already on it to make it work.
So what about more generally as a creator then? What do you, as someone producing all these videos, do you have a bottleneck?
Yeah, there's going to come a point where there's going to be other social networks that are going to come on board, or there's going to be ones that I want to tap. I mean, there's some of these networks out there that I literally can't plug into my machine because their API is not good enough to be able to make that connection. And so if you don't have that, then I have to manually do it by either me doing it myself, which I literally don't have enough time, or I have to hire that out, which would cost me. I could probably hire someone out and get it done. It's just a matter of if that social network is enough juice to squeeze to cover the cost that I'm paying someone to do those.
No, absolutely. Because it is all about how much you're putting in and how much you're getting back out, isn't it?
Right. And I know that I can reach people with the networks that I have. So I'm not totally, it's not like I'm not reaching somebody. So I feel like my content is valuable in that way. The fact that it is out there and it is reaching someone, I just want it to be able to reach, to all the networks that people are on that are my demographic. I'm not trying to reach everybody, but I am trying to reach everyone who is my demographic on whatever network they're on. And there's probably guys out there who are on rumble.com, and I just don't have a way to plug into Rumble yet. That's one thing that I'm trying to figure out currently.
So on this solving, and we go back to this recurring theme of you being this problem solver, which is absolutely incredible. And being a data geek, so you're a kindred spirit. What are some of the a surprising thing that you've discovered, found, or experienced as you've been going through this journey as a creator?
Probably like to not be afraid to try something. I'm kind of a person where I get very loyal to something, and I think I start to believe like that's the only way that it needs to happen. But then, like going back to the whole Zapier or even Genius Links in the beginning, like I was nervous to try that because I already had something working on YouTube for myself with the regular Amazon associate links. And I was very reluctant to try something new because I didn't want to mess it up. But then I saw, I did my research, I did my data collection, and I was able to plug in Genius Links, and it worked like a charm. Networks, I need to figure out a way to where I can make this happen, and I need to find a way that I can do it at scale. And, I did a bunch of digging, and I found Zapier, and using the ChatGPT plugins that they have really solved that problem that I was having.
So Zapier, you've got absolutely nailed down, but you've also mentioned ChatGPT, and you mentioned earlier on Opus Clips. And where do you see AI, or do you see AI being integrated into your workflow? How do you see that changing over the next year or so?
So, I mean, it's already, once I saw that Zapier had integrations with ChatGPT, I knew that it was going to become a part of my workflow. Honestly, going back to bottlenecks, one of the bottlenecks I'm having right now is ChatGPT only allows certain amount of like credits or whatever. And, otherwise the system gets bogged down. So hopefully throughout the year, they get that fixed out because that's, affecting me. As far as like AI, just kind of in general with my thought process on it, is I'm already using it to get transcripts from MP3s. It's processing that so that I can get a title and a thumbnail, and it can tell me what product I'm talking about in there. Thumbnail generation is something that's interesting to me. That's actually a test that I'm doing right now. I've got probably 5 videos on dad reviews where I told ChatGPT, based on this video's transcript, generate a thumbnail for me.
Wow,
right?
That's interesting.
And it spit something. Yeah. So it's been and I wanted it to be, again, going back to authenticity. I wanted it to be a thumbnail that represents what I'm saying in the video. I use a TubeBuddy, which is they have A/B thumbnail testing. Yep. And I'm currently running tests right now, which compare either a thumbnail that I generated a long time ago whenever I used to make all my thumbnails, or a ChatGPT thumbnail, and I want to see which one works better. Or it's whatever the thumbnail is that YouTube picked from my video because I didn't have time to create a thumbnail. That's another point, another bottleneck for me probably is thumbnail creation, because I knew if I get my thumbnails better, I'll get more clicks, and that'll lead to more clicks through Genius Link and whatnot. Right. But so that's the one reason why I want to test ChatGPT, because if I don't have to pay someone to do it and I can use ChatGPT, 1, it's probably going to be more cost effective. 2, I can do it at scale. And 3, hopefully they perform better. I'm actually doing a big test of this on my travel channel because I kind of found like a style that I like with that I could get ChatGPT to reproduce fairly the same. And so right now, like it was a 45-day road trip that I set it up to where every day, all 45 of those videos switch from a ChatGPT thumbnail to whatever YouTube generated type of thumbnail. Right. And I'm kind of curious. I'm really curious to see what the data is going to be from that.
Oh, we'd absolutely love to see how that turns out, because I think that. Obviously, A/B split testing on overall is incredible. On thumbnails, absolutely, really, really important. We definitely want to hear how that goes.
I just don't think ChatGPT is at a solid enough place right now, at least for my content, to be able to create a thumbnail that's going to outperform the thumbnails that I can generate, or just even a still image from YouTube. And I want to go back to my origin story. I was looking at trying to buy a hiking backpack because we like to go hiking whenever we travel. And so as I was going through videos on YouTube, this was before I even started Dad Reviews, I found this guy who was sitting on the edge of his bed talking about this hiking bag that he got. It was an unedited video. The lighting in it was horrible, but it was enough to where I could see like what he was talking about. And he was just fumbling around with this thing, being very tactile with it. And I said, wow, if I could create content on a channel that did the same thing as this guy, because this is what I like. I knew that there was an audience for it because it's what I liked. And it just had better lighting, better audio, and a little bit more of a personality. I have a background in performing arts. I should have mentioned that at the top of the video. So that's why I'm kind of animated. I talk with my hands and my voice goes up and down. You know, I know kind of how to talk to people. And I was in sales. I was a jewelry salesman for a while. So I know, like, you know, features and benefits and how you want to weigh those whenever you're talking to someone, whenever you're talking about products and all that type of stuff. And so I knew if I kind of took all that information that I knew even before, like I was even thinking about making the channel, if I were to put that into this type of video content, that I would think would do well. And I mean, the channel's at, I mean, we're like 100 subscribers away from 40,000 subscribers, and revenue wise, it's the thing that's, you know, fueling our business right now. So with AI, if there's a way that I can plug in better thumbnails to be able to enhance that even more, that would be good. But like I was saying, I just don't think that it's there yet, because that authenticity that I was looking for whenever even I was just scrolling through looking for thumbnails to click on a video for that hiking backpack, like the guy holding the product in his hand, sitting down on his bed, and maybe not even the best lighting, like that intrigued me, because I feel like I'm going to get a truly authentic video out of that.
Yeah. No, and that's a really interesting angle as well, because it is totally counter to your channel presenting an AI generated, because what you do is 100% authentic and genuine.
Right. And I'd be curious to know, like, from a channel like Mr. Beast, if he were to, one, not use like his very fancy thumbnails that he pays how many thousands of dollars to get created, right? If he were to take that and put up just a screenshot of one of his videos, what's the data on that? Then what's the data on the AI generating something, comparing that to, one, what he does now and pays tens of thousands of dollars for, or two, comparing that to just YouTube taking a screenshot of their, you know, whatever they think is good for the video. Obviously, I think his, you know, human-made, you know, overtly saturated thumbnails are going to do better. And that's going back to knowing who your audience is, which I think is a very important thing whenever you're a content creator. You have to know, like, is my audience going to click on the brightly colored, you know, alt kind of text, or, you know, the open face or whatever it is? Or are they going to want to see the guy just holding the product in his hand and you know, talking about it, right?
Yeah. And with your audience, how have you figured out who that audience is, and how's that evolved as you've built the channel?
To be able to figure it out, I mean, you kind of just you literally have to test it your own self, because each channel is so specific, because YouTube's algorithms are so good at finding that particular person who's going to resonate with your content. And so even, you know, with my channel, like what's interesting, so I had thumbnails that I did because I knew a brightly colored background would probably do well, better than most, because it catches the eye. I knew that I needed to have the product up front and center on the thumbnail. And so I started creating, before ChatGPT and all this, I started creating thumbnails. There was my face on one side, a yellow or blue background, and the product on the other side. It stands out. It says this guy's going to talk about this product, right? And so those tend to do the best for me. And so with some of these tests that I'm doing, it's those older style thumbnails that I'm testing ChatGPT against, but also the YouTube generated thumbnails that I'm testing against. But then I also want to try another version of thumbnails where I'm literally just holding the product front and center at the camera, and you don't see my face. You don't see anything. I mean, my background is white, so that should hopefully stand out. I'm curious to know how that compares to the three other examples that I've given. And I just don't have enough data on that yet to be able to give a definitive answer.
And very much, as you say, that's audience driven. That's the YouTube algorithm finding the best person, that best match, to make sure that they can pair the content with the viewer and keep that as consistent as possible. So no, it's correct. I'm really looking forward to that data.
And I think it'll be interesting from a Genius Link perspective, because if you're getting more clicks on a thumbnail, this is why the thumbnail is so important. You have to get a click on a thumbnail before you can even get a click on a Genius Link, right? Like the two go hand in hand. You're not going to get clicks on your Genius Links if you don't get someone to click on the thumbnail.
Absolutely. It's that whole conversion journey, isn't it? That customer journey from just discovery all the way through to action.
100%. 100%.
So you have been an incredible guest. Really appreciate your time. I have one last question for you. What's that one piece of advice you would want to share with your fellow creators or people just starting out creating that you think would help them along their journey?
It's the age-old business advice of keep it simple, stupid. The KISS method. That's why I started Dad Reviews. I knew that I had to make that channel the keep it simple, stupid method, just because, one, I'm a dad with 3 kids. 2, I had another channel that I was already running, but I knew that I saw the potential there from the emails that I was getting. Like, I knew that it was something that I could make something happen with. And honestly, I had already tested out review content on that other channel, which I tried 14 million other things with, and that actually did really well. In hindsight, I probably should have taken that channel, the one that I did all the weird stuff with and tested out so many things with. I should have done possibly should have done Dad Reviews on that channel, because I saw videos on that channel do better than what I was already producing. But I'm glad that I started a new channel, because it gave me data just on those videos on that channel, and it wasn't mixed in with everything else that I was doing. So the best advice I can say is keep it simple, stupid. Make it the easiest thing that you can do, not only just for longevity, but just for getting started. Whenever you're starting as a creator, you have to get in those reps of making those first few videos. I'd done that for 10 years on 5 other channels, right? Like, I knew how to talk to the audience. I knew what they wanted. I knew how to work with brands, because I'd done that in the past. It's just a matter of like this cacophony of everything that I had learned and worked towards working on this one channel. And now I'm trying to build out, how do I take all that and amplify it and do the 10x thing on that channel.
Brilliant. Thank you. That is absolutely rock solid advice. Definitely worth paying attention to. So thank you very much for that. Finally, where is the best place to find you online?
So the YouTube channel is youtube.com/Dad Reviews. Everything else is LaneVids. I'm LaneVids.com. I have another YouTube channel, youtube.com/LaneVids, but Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, wherever you want to find me. Rumble, since I'm trying to do something there. It's all at LaneVids, LANE, like my name, and Vids, VIDS, because I make videos.
Brilliant. Thank you very much again, Lane. You have been an absolute star.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me on.